Howdy folks, welcome to another episode of Mingles with Jingles to kick off the week, and what a week it has been. When things go wrong around here, they go wrong in style, let me tell you that. It's just been one of those weeks where everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong. But it did have a happy ending, so we're going to begin this particular episode of Mingles with Jingles talking about the week from hell. Well, I say the week from hell, but you have to put it into perspective. Nobody torched my village, murdered my family, and forced me into service as a child soldier. It's when I say the week from hell, we're talking first world problems here, of course. But, nevertheless, this is basically what has been going on this week. Because when things go wrong around here, I know it's time to batten down the hatches and stand by, because if something goes wrong with me involved, there's never just one thing, right? Misery loves company, okay? So, where do we start? First things first, my coffee machine went tits up. I actually mentioned this in one of my World of Tanks or World of Warships videos earlier on in the week. And that was a major blow to morale, because I love my coffee, and I had no idea exactly how much I was addicted to caffeine until my coffee machine died. But I thought to myself, it's okay, I can handle it, I don't have a problem, I can stop drinking coffee anytime I like, I'll just order a new machine and, it'll be here within a day or two, it'll be no problem. And that's where things started to go wrong. Well, it didn't take too long before I realised, and when I say I didn't take too long, I'm talking a matter of hours before I realised, no, it's no good, I cannot wait a couple of days for a new machine to be delivered in the post. And I'm not reducing myself to drinking instant coffee. I need proper coffee, and I need it now. So we need to do some shopping anyway. So we went round to the local supermarket. And they also sold coffee machines. So I thought I'll pick up a new one from there. And I saw one that I liked the look of, bought it, got it home with all the groceries, dumped the groceries on the kitchen floor. Let's get this coffee machine plugged in and get some proper coffee brewing while we unpack the groceries. So took it out of the box, plugged it in, filled the reservoir with water, and all the water immediately leaked out of the reservoir and ran all over the kitchen counter. This thing was buggered right out of the box, so that was a fairly major blow to morale. Now at that point I nearly started crying there and then, because we didn't even have any instant coffee in the house, and all that we had to drink that was hot was tea. And I'm not a huge fan of tea, and I know that probably sounds very strange to most of you because I'm English, but really, no. Tea and I just don't get along. I'm a confirmed coffee drinker. Black coffee, lots of sugar. That's my thing. So, okay, fine. Coffee machine's broken before I've even plugged it in. Great. We'll take it back the next day. We'll just exchange it, get a replacement. So I'm going to have to put it with drinking tea. Yuck. For a day and a half at the most. That's all right, I can put up with that. So the next day, we returned to the supermarket, although because of, various different reasons, we couldn't get there any earlier than 10:30 p.m. at night, but that's no problem. The supermarket is open 24 hours a day. So at 10:30 p.m, march in through the doors of the supermarket, got the receipt in one hand, I've got the coffee machine back in its packing box in the other hand, and the customer service desk closes at 10 p.m. So, half an hour late. Ah, fantastic. Now what am I going to do? Now this was on the Thursday night. And bearing in mind, it's a public holiday weekend coming up. It was the May Day bank holiday. And the next time I was going to be able to get back to the supermarket wasn't going to be until, I couldn't get there on the Friday. I couldn't get there on the Saturday. On the Sunday, I was due to be going to play Airsoft, and they're only open until 4 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon. It's the one day of the week they're not open 24 hours. Monday was a bank holiday. No. I'm not going the better part of 5 days without real coffee. I'm going to have to take emergency measures here. So I decided to myself, all right, we're at the supermarket now. It's going to be a couple of days before I can get back here and return the defective coffee machine that I bought the day before. So what I'm going to do is I'll get home, and I'll go online and I'll just order one online and get it delivered over the weekend. Of course, I'm going to need something to tide me over until it arrives. So while we're here at the supermarket, I know I'll just go and I'll buy a cafetiere. Now, I should probably explain what one of those is, because they might not call them the same thing, in whatever country you're watching this from. It's just a pot and there's a sort of plunger arrangement in top, and you put your filter coffee, or you buy your coffee beans and grind them and, you know, do it yourself, into the top of this thing, fill it up with water, and press the plunger down. It basically just makes filter coffee for you, and it's a handy thing to have, you know, in case anything goes wrong in the future. So I'm here in the supermarket anyway. I'll buy a cafetiere. They don't sell them. Are you kidding me? Seriously? Yes, seriously, they didn't sell them. So, all right, okay, screw it. I'll just buy some instant coffee. So I bought the strongest stuff they had, and I figured I'll just put 2 teaspoons of this into my, you know, cup of hot water, and that will do. Get home, go online, order a new coffee machine, and according to the tracking number that the manufacturer gave me, I could expect this thing to be delivered on Saturday morning. Now, this was Thursday night, so I thought, well, yeah, all right, I can put it with drinking instant coffee. At least it's not tea anymore, but I can put it with drinking instant coffee for 2 days, and maybe it won't even be a full 2 days. Maybe it'll arrive Saturday morning. You never know. That's the last time I believe the tracking information that I get from Dolce Gusto. I'm telling you that for nothing. Saturday morning, I wake up and I check the tracking information, and it says, yep, it's been loaded onto one of our vans for delivery this morning, Saturday morning. I thought, yes, new coffee machine's going to arrive today. Well, it didn't arrive on Saturday. It didn't arrive on Sunday. It didn't arrive on Monday. It did in fact arrive late on Tuesday afternoon, at which point I was ready to start ripping the curtains down, boiling those, and drinking that. But yes, Tuesday afternoon, finally. That's this week Tuesday, just 6 days ago, this new coffee machine finally arrived, and it was a great coffee machine. I mean, it was automatic. It was a great machine. So I'm like, yes. So I plug it in. I get some of my coffee capsules, pop them in there, and I'm like, great, real coffee at last. And I make my first cup of real coffee in something like 5 days, and it was fantastic. And this new machine was great, and it worked for about 5 hours. I'm not making this up. The brand new coffee machine went tits up within 5 hours of me getting it out of the box, right, and plugging it in. The world was just determined that I was destined to not drink any coffee last week. At this point, it's fairly safe to say I am not the most pleasant person in the world to be around. In fact, I'm a bit like a bear with a sore head. I need proper coffee, and I need it now. But the fastest I'm going to get it is the next day. I go onto Amazon Prime, because I pay for Amazon Prime, which is worth it, by the way. £70 a year, but you get free delivery, free next day delivery on just about everything you order from Amazon. Plus, there's the whole benefit of Twitch TV and so on, now that Amazon have bought them out. So I figure, right, Amazon Prime membership, don't let me down now. And I find exactly the same model of coffee machine, only hopefully this time one that works. And it is a little bit more expensive if you're ordering it from Amazon than if you go straight to the manufacturer, but I just don't care. I need coffee. So I've just returned one defective coffee machine. I still have to contact the manufacturer and arrange for a return of the second defective coffee machine, and now I'm waiting for a third coffee machine to arrive. Thankfully, Amazon didn't let me down. The next machine arrives the next day, and so this is now Wednesday. Right? My old machine that had served me faithfully for years went tits up 6 days earlier. I have gone for nearly a week without proper coffee. I am not the most pleasant person in the world at this point. But the new coffee machine arrives, the coffee's fantastic, I stop barking and growling at everybody who tries to speak to me, and we all lived happily ever after. Yeah, except that's not quite how it worked. Now, there was nothing wrong with this third and final coffee machine, but remember, when things go wrong around here, they go wrong in spades. So the next thing to go horribly and hopelessly tits up was to do with Twitch TV. What are you talking about, Jingles? Well, I got a Twitch TV partnership last week. I don't know if I mentioned this in a previous episode, but, well, Rita's basically been riding me to get a Twitch partnership. Basically because she wants to be able to help me in the way that I've helped her in the past. Basically, anytime Rita, and she doesn't do it very often, actually does it very infrequently, But anytime Rita puts a video up on her YouTube channel, I help her. Well, if I'm being completely accurate, I basically do it for her. Because YouTube's my thing, and Twitch is her thing. And so she was quite anxious that I take advantage of, well, you lot, 500,000 YouTube subscribers, and apply for a Twitch partnership and start live streaming. Because then she'd be able to help me. And it did seem like a bit of a no-brainer. I mean, she was convinced that Twitch were going to fall over themselves to offer a partnership deal because I had 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. Well, they didn't exactly fall over themselves to offer a Twitch partnership. It did take a while, but it only took a couple of weeks, and most of that was due to me just not being in any particular rush to fill in the tax documentation and blah blah and so on and so on. But she kept on my case about it and eventually did it, and last week, partnership deal approved. So I am now an official Twitch partner. Hooray! How's this bad news, Jingles? Hold on. Wait, we're going to get there. To celebrate getting the Twitch partnership, Rita bought me a 22-inch monitor. Isn't that nice? Now, those of you who had the misfortune to watch me playing World of Tanks on Quickie Baby's live stream last Thursday probably already know how this particular version of the story ends. So, brand new monitor. And it's ironic, actually, because the new monitor arrived on the day that Rita's old graphics card went tits up. Yes, that's right. Well, her graphics card didn't go completely wrong. You could still get video output to her primary monitor, but the second monitor, we narrowed it down through a process of elimination, plugging, unplugging, testing different ports. It turns out that the second video out on the back of her old graphics card had just died. Couldn't get any signal out of it. There's nothing wrong with the spare monitor. The graphics card would only output to the primary display for one reason or another. Don't know why. But anyway, she had to now order a new video card, which was kind of ironic because she just bought me a brand new monitor. And on the day it arrived, her graphics card went tits up as well. Now, she bought me a monitor primarily because you really do need two monitors if you're streaming to Twitch. Because all you can see on your primary display is whatever game you're playing, so you can't be monitoring chats and so on and so on, and all the other stuff that you need to be doing that's not directly involved with whatever game you're streaming. Now, I'd been managing prior to that, when I was just streaming occasionally just for fun, not trying to do anything serious with it, just by having my Kindle tablet, because there's a Twitch app that you can get for that, and you can monitor chat on the tablet. But it's not exactly ideal, because what it basically means is at the end of the night when I finished streaming, suddenly my Kindle's battery's dead, and now I've got no battery on my Kindle to watch my TV shows in bed before I go to sleep. So, I mean, it works, but it wasn't ideal. So Rita went out and bought me this new monitor. Brand new, obviously flat screen, 22-inch BenQ, 2 millisecond response time monitor. It's a nice little monitor. So I cleared space on the desk, and I plugged the power cable in, and then I grabbed the video cable, and I had a look at one end and thought, DVI, nice and standard, plug that into the back of the monitor, and the other end of the DVI cable, this was where the alarm bell started to go off. The other end of the DVI cable was a VGA port. I mean, that's how very 2003. Whatever. I'm bound to have a VGA port on the back of my PC. No, I don't have a VGA port on the back of my PC. Oh, that's all right. I've got a DVI to DVI cable somewhere. Hang on a minute. I've only got one DVI output on the back of my graphics card. What the hell's going on here? So I grab a torch and I take a closer look at the back of my graphics card, and I had what appeared to be the world's only graphics card that only has one video output. I couldn't plug in a second monitor. Bizarrely, what it appeared to have, because obviously it's a double slot card, it's a GTX 1060, so they occupy two slots. So on the primary output, I had DVI, DVI, that was it, not HDMI, DVI output, and that was what was plugged into my primary monitor. Nothing else on the primary slot. On the second slot, they looked like a bunch of USB ports. I was like, the hell? Who puts USB ports on the back of a graphics card? Anybody out there who's even slightest little bit of tech savvy is probably pissing their pants laughing at me right now. As were most of Quickie Baby's subscribers on Twitch when I was telling this story on Thursday night on Quickie Baby's live stream. Because it didn't take long for chat to basically flood with jingles, you nuggets. Those are not USB ports. Those are display ports. So I'm sitting there on Quickie Baby's live stream in front of 10,000 viewers. We were playing with Phelan from Wargaming as well. Me, Quickie Baby, Phelan. And 10,000 of Quickie Baby's viewers all pissing their pants laughing at this stupid old fart. That would be me. Who confused a display port for a USB port on the back of a graphics card. Thought that there was something wrong with his graphics card and therefore couldn't plug his second monitor in. Yep, I was that idiot. But I mean, what the hell's a display port? I mean, okay, VGA ports, yep, I know what those are. HDMI ports, yep, got those covered. DVI ports, yep, I know what those are. Display, is this new? How new is this? Please say it's like just a couple of months old, because if these have been around for years and I had never heard of them, I'm never going to live it down. Oh well, it couldn't get any worse, could it? Whatever. So, okay, good news. It turns out there's nothing wrong with the graphics card that I have. It does have display outs for this monitor. All I need is the relevant cable. So, back onto Twitch Prime. Sorry, not Twitch Prime, Amazon Prime. Order a new cable because, yeah, unsurprisingly, the monitor didn't come with the right cables. And bingo, I've got my second monitor up and running, ready for live streaming on Twitch. And that's pretty much what I've been doing this weekend. In fact, I finished live streaming right before sitting down to do this episode of Mingles with Jingles. In fact, the reason I finished live streaming was because I needed to sit down and do this episode of Mingles with Jingles. What you been playing, Jingles? Well, that was kind of the trick, really, wasn't it? Because, well, you know, obviously there's World of Tanks and there's World of Warships, but every man and their dog streams World of Tanks and World of Warships. And every man and their dog is substantially better at World of Tanks in particular and World of Warships than I am. Apart from that, while I love the games, they're not the kind of game I can sit down and play for hours and hours and hours. 2 hours, no more. And I need to play something else, or stop and watch a TV, whatever. I cannot concentrate on World of Tanks, World of Warships for longer than 2 hours. And 2 hours is nothing. Rita's been kicking the arse out of World of Tanks this weekend with the ×5 experience. She must have done something like 20 hours over the course of this weekend and streamed most of it. I just couldn't do that. I couldn't do a tenth of that before just needing to do something else. So I had to decide what it was I was going to stream. Now, we tried doing Mass Effect Andromeda, and pretty much everybody was doing Mass Effect Andromeda about a month ago. And it was about that long ago when Rita first encouraged me to actually try live streaming again. And Mass Effect Andromeda was the game of choice. So playing that live on the stream at least proved that I was able to stream without any technical hitches. You know, it was a nice technical test, but Mass Effect Andromeda is really not the sort of game to watch being streamed live. I mean, I still think it's a good game, but it's definitely a single player experience only, because there's so much boring, tedious filler in Mass Effect Andromeda. I mean, there's a good old ratio of exciting planet-bound action in the game as well, but there's a lot of boredom that you have to slog through in order to get to the interesting bits on the surface of the planets. And well, there's too much boring in Mass Effect Andromeda for it to be, in my opinion at least, a successful or interesting live stream game. So, you know, thanks. We technical tested using Mass Effect Andromeda and proved that I was actually physically capable of streaming. But that's not the game that I'm going to be playing. So I had a look through my Steam library, and it turns out I got just short of 200 games on Steam. Most of which, and this is an interesting statistic by the way, but something like 60% of the games that I have either only played an hour or less, or I have never played. And that's not unusual, apparently. A lot of people make a lot of impulse purchases during the Steam summer sales and never play the games that they pay for. Anyway, I had a look through my Steam library to have a look and see what sort of games I'd either not bothered playing, and which would be useful for streaming, or I had bothered playing, thought were really, really good and wouldn't mind playing again. And that's when I stumbled across South Park, The Stick of Truth. And I have spent most of Saturday and Sunday night streaming that, and a couple of hundred of you, I think nearly 500 at one point, joined me and enjoyed every. And I'm really enjoying playing through it again as well, because I mean I have played the game before, but it was a fair old while ago, and all I can really remember was that I loved it. It was hilarious, and I sort of have a vague general idea of how the plot unfolds and what the basic story is, but I couldn't remember any of the details. So I'm seeing the jokes, and it's as if I'm seeing them for the first time, and it's just a fantastic game to play. So I've been having a lot of fun doing that. I am going to be continuing streaming South Park: The Stick of Truth. And by the way, you should be warned, if you're thinking of tuning in and watching the live streams, this stuff is definitely not safe for work, okay? It's definitely R-rated entertainment, so, you know, just be aware of that. I don't want people turning up to the live stream and then writing angry letters to their members of parliament saying, I turned up to watch the Mighty Jingles live stream and I was shocked. I've never been so offended in my life. Fair warning, right? If you're easily offended, you don't want to be watching this live stream. Okay? It's that kind of stream. So yeah, anyway, it's probably appropriate at this point that I thank the 63 of you so far who have subscribed to me on Twitch. In particular, War Kitty, who was my first ever subscriber on Twitch. But I must also stress that it's absolutely not necessary that you subscribe to me on Twitch. I mean, I'm certainly not going to discourage you if you feel that you want to, because, you know, you help and pay my bills. But just turning up and watching is enough, really. The only thing I want is for you guys to have a good time. If you should choose to turn up and watch me live stream, whatever the hell it is I'm streaming, I just want you to enjoy it. And just the fact that you've turned up to watch is going to help me out anyway. If you feel the need to subscribe as well, then, you know, I'm certainly not going to stop you, but don't feel that you're under any pressure to do so. If all you do is turn up and endure a minute of adverts every 2 hours when I remember to take a break, then, you know, you're helping to pay the bills. So thank you very much. The timing of this has been pretty good as well. And I'm kind of grateful to Rita for encouraging me to get off my arse and actually do something with Twitch because of what's been going on with advertising on YouTube lately. A couple of you have mentioned it, and I have to admit, looking through the comments of previous videos, people have been saying, Jingles, have you been affected by this YouTube advertising thing? Oh, what the hell are you talking about? Well, I got an email from my friend James Brooksby, who also happens to be the director of Edge Case Games, the makers of Fractured Space. And he said, has this been affecting you? And provided me a link. And the link went to an article on gamesindustry.biz. And it basically reads like this. YouTube has recently made changes to its website that means advertisers can remove ads from videos that contain footage of natural disasters, tragedies, violence, promotion of drugs, sexually suggestive content, political conflicts, war-related subject matter, and profanity. Wait, what? Hang on. War-related subject matter. So, every video I've ever uploaded for the last 5 years. Yeah. Now this would explain a lot, actually. The article goes on even further. They're talking about a YouTuber called Prestige is Key, who has over 1.1 million subscribers, says that his videos have been demonetized due to depictions of war. He said in a video, are games really looking that good these days that they think it's a real war I'm depicting? He then tweeted an image showing that on a video where he talked about milk for 2 minutes, seriously, just a test, he talked about milk for 2 minutes in a YouTube video, got 29,000 views and earned $40.99 revenue for the day. So that's in the first day the video went up. He then did a video on the movement mechanics in Call of Duty World War II, got 95,000 video views and received revenue of $10.85. Now that would explain a lot, actually. I mean, I certainly haven't dug into the details to the depth that this guy has, but, well, I've felt that something was going on for a while now. I've got over 550,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Once again, thank you all very much for subscribing. That's about double what I had this time last year, and yet I'm earning 30% less. Obviously, I'm not going to go into specifics here, and again, it's not like I'm struggling, but there's a definite downward trend. If you cover the kind of games and do the kind of videos that I do, you know, war museum visits, war games, airsoft, that sort of thing, if you cover this sort of thing, there's a definite downward trend in the amount of income that it generates on YouTube. So, yeah, there's that. At first, I just thought that everybody was using AdBlock, but, I mean, I don't know, maybe people are using AdBlock, but I don't think AdBlock alone explains the very definite downward trend in the amount of cash that I'm making from doing what it is that I do. And I'm pretty sure that the major culprit is YouTube's new advertising policy where it comes to war-related subject matter. So the idea that I'm branching out into Twitch, and don't worry, I have no illusions whatsoever that I'm going to become a Twitch gaming superstar overnight, because I'm just not good enough at games. But it helps to, you know, spread your eggs around rather than keeping them all in one basket. So, Twitch live streaming. I can't thank Rita enough, not just for the new monitor that she bought me so I can monitor Twitch chat and check the stream health and all that other sort of stuff on the second monitor while I'm, you know, concentrating on the game on the main monitor, but also for just encouraging me to get off my arse and do this in the first place. So thank you very much to her for that. And, well, what can I say? I hope to see you on my Twitch live stream. Although, you know, don't worry, I'm not giving up YouTube. YouTube is still very much the day job, and Twitch is just something I'm doing on the side. But I have been having fun doing Twitch. Then again, it depends on the games that you're playing. But we'll see how it goes. Now, what I don't have at the moment is a definite schedule for streaming. What I've basically been doing up until now is just, you know, if I have the time and if I feel like it, if I'm playing something, and I figure, well, it wouldn't hurt to stream this since I'm playing it anyway, then I will stream. Obviously, that's not ideal because I don't have a dedicated schedule. You know, other prominent Twitch live streamers, you know exactly when to tune in order to see them play. You don't get that with me. And I'm not sure I can do that because YouTube is my day job. I still have to get those YouTube videos up every day because I do enjoy doing that, you know. I know it sounds weird, but even after all these years, I still do enjoy making these videos. And the only real time I have where I know I'm not going to have to worry about getting a video out the next day and am I going to have to cut a live stream short and so on is Saturday, because Saturday's my day off. But if I schedule a live stream every Saturday, it's not my day off anymore. And then I don't have a day off once again. And then I start getting burnout, and then I have to start taking breaks and blah, blah, and then nobody's happy. So I'm open to suggestions. Let me just put it this way. I do know that while I'm still a complete noob when it comes to Twitch, I do know that if you follow me on Twitch, and something like 22,000 of you already do, which is weird because I haven't done anything on Twitch in 2 years, but, you know, I've got all those followers anyway. But if you follow me on Twitch, you will get a notification whenever I go live. So I don't know, maybe that's the way ahead. But let me know what you think in the comments anyway. And of course, you know, down below, in the video description, the details of my Twitch channel. So, yeah. So it has been a bit of a funny old week. It's been down, it's been up, it's been, I think, you know, there's been a happy ending, but geez, I'm never going without coffee for 5 days again. I can promise you that for nothing. I was a bad person to be around last week. It was just, you know, you don't want to talk to me, just poke me with a stick through the bars of my cage and be careful you don't get your fingers bitten off. It was that bad. I'm such a total caffeine addict. And I hadn't realised until I had to go without it. I was just tired all the time, tired and bad-tempered. But don't worry, I'm fully dosed up with caffeine, as you can probably tell. So it's all good. Got a new machine, it's all up and running. I'm broadcasting on Twitch. Yeah, check me out. I'm a 21st century old fogey now. Hurrah. And you know, the week's ended well. And that is pretty much all I have time for in this week's particular episode of Mingles with Jingles. So, more of a status report rather than a story time. There was other things that I wanted to talk about, but, you know, it's getting kind of late and I need my beauty sleep, and this has been half an hour already. So, I'm going to have to shelve those for next week's episode of Mingles with Jingles. Hopefully I'll remember to talk about them. What sort of things are you talking about, Jingles? Well, the books and stuff that I've been reading lately as well, and new TV shows and all kinds of stuff. But that's going to have to wait for another episode. I hope you've enjoyed this one. I hope it hasn't tested your patience too much. Enjoy the rest of your week, you know, such as it is. I realise it's Monday, but hey, things can only get better from here on in. And as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.